Good evening, saints of the Most High Elohim. This is Peter Michael Martinez. I want to thank you for joining us here at Remnant House, the home of the strong and the very courageous. And right now, you're watching the devolution of a matrix, a system of thinking and control. And it is a messy business that is happening as you're watching various levels of warfare unfold. And I believe that we are deeply already embedded in a serious conflict that ends, as we all know, with the coming of the King of Kings. For this that we're watching now has no other culmination. This is now the ramp up for that final conflict. And because of the hour that we're in, you have to understand the way in which the enemy is utilizing various things against us to control or to subjugate. Right now, we're watching the element of surprise. And we have all experienced some form of ambush or surprise in our lives. We have no time to react, and our emotions have the best of us for some time. And those who study war and understand the psychology of warfare have developed techniques and methods to control the people they mean to subjugate. We all have detected these techniques here and there, but it is a rare few that grasp the totality of the warfare of this age. We've entered the battlefield of the mind. While past wars have been about the destruction of armies and the use of direct conventional military force, we have entered a new type of warfare that is many times more lethal, efficient, and effective than conventional means of conflict. Consider the costs of training and equipping forces for defense of a nation or territory. It is considerable. With armed conflict, these long-developed assets can be removed in an instant, severely restricting or even eliminating war-making capability. Every part of our world has been affected in some way or another by past wars, conflicts, and destruction. We all have a healthy respect for the war-making capabilities now present on the earth. Nevertheless, this war-making capability does not come cheaply, and in conflict, there can be catastrophic physical losses that are immeasurable. Using the new forms of psychological warfare, the intended people group is attacked in such a way that they self-destruct, preserving investment in personnel and arms while maximizing enemy casualties. This form of warfare can be called spiritual warfare, as it comprises matters of spirit and soul, as well as intellect, which in turn control and affect the physical world. Using Babylonian money magic to produce fiat currency, which empowered their war-making machines and control grids, is the manifestation of their power. This is what is worship. The combination of these powers are used to great effect to manipulate leaders and governments into the bidding of the devil. As an example, we now know that by using psychological warfare, entire people groups will take experimental gene therapy, unclean, for a non-existent mental invention pandemic, resulting in the death and destruction of millions without firing a conventional weapon of war. The direct approach of aiming a firearm or killing your enemy has a nasty side effect of arousing forces of revenge, retribution, and justice. Consider the more sinister method, where the perpetrator of the death cannot be ascertained conclusively. Then the conquerors can kill with impunity. This is the ultimate sniper. If you can get your enemy to kill themselves remotely without even so much as having to necessarily aim at one particular target or another, I would suggest this is advanced sniper warfare. A sniper is one who shoots an enemy from very long range and undercover such that they are not easily detected. Snipers can single-handedly and systematically eliminate large numbers of enemies from a remote and relatively safe distance. This kind of warfare is what you see when you see drone attacks or guided missiles. This is just another form of sniper. If, however, you can fill the world with false prophecy and cause people to fear death, and therefore take what will save them, and they believe your good news or gospel, then you can poison an entire people group long before they even realize it. And if you can do so, you can eliminate these people while not destroying buildings, infrastructure, agriculture, and other assets that the conquering forces would seek to harvest from their conquests. This is the age-old way of war, and it has not changed in thousands of years. War is deception, and all is fair when war is declared. To the victor goes the spoils in the minds of men. These principalities and powers and rulers of ignorance and stupidity, otherwise known as darkness, have control of the ignorant, and by the wave of their media magic wand, they have convinced millions to take poison. This is none other than the great strong delusion foretold in the scripture. Now billions of people will self-destruct. Additionally, there will be those who become infected simply by proximation. Physical proximity was all that was needed to spread this poison, and consequently, all who did not heed with haste the word of Yahuah Elohim will suffer for their choice. This is cruel revenge. Many cannot understand what would possibly motivate such evil, but it is hardly the first time imperial powers have used injected substance to bring war, subjugation, and considerable wealth. What is new is the tables are reversed on the former imperialists by new imperialists. The old British Empire is now subjugated under the same people whom they subjugated using opium not very long ago. It is the doom of man that they forget, for evil waits for its opportunity for revenge. What you are witnessing is the wholesale subjugation of the West by means of indulgence and self-preservation. Using the evil inclination against them, they lie in wait for the lawless. While the world looks in one place, you do not notice the opioid or fentanyl epidemic that is raging. You may not notice the systemic devolution of what was called society, as the power of the sniper continues to pick off one victim after another. Now the dead will bury the dead. How can we escape the dead who are ticking time bombs? You cannot. It will slowly begin to dawn on those who were deceived that they will soon perish. There will be no way for them to escape this knowledge as they watch more die around them. This torture was intentional and is the same despair felt by millions who perished in the opium wars of old. Old scores are being settled. This was prophesied to come, such that there will be years of burying the dead for all the bodies there will be. For this reason we are commanded to come out of her. Proximity is deadly. You cannot save those who will not come out of Babylon. Their fate is sealed with a whore, because they could not see beyond the borders of their slavery. If you are waiting for the perfect time to leave, it is behind you. Those who are gathered by Yahuah are the courageous, who burn their retreat and understand the hour in which we live. The world as you knew it is gone. The new systems that they will impose will demonstrate the attitude of the new management, who believe they own people and do not recognize your sovereign rights. The only working solution for the redeemed who have no intention of being part of the beast system is to develop your own. That means every single vertical that we rely on must be replaced with our own brethren. Wherever people join together in unity in Messiah, there will be peace. Few will find this path. Most will consider this too radical, but this is the great dividing, and there is no going back. The ones being gathered in his barn are not going to see the ones bundled for fire to be burned, which is precisely what they will do with many dead bodies. After this coming Passover, there will be a massive wave of death that will cover the nations, and many will perish, such that the world will groan with a great groaning. And while we have time, we adjure the remnant and elect of Yahuah to depart from Babylon spiritually, economically, socially, physically, and mentally in every way. The sooner you get completely disconnected, the sooner you will start to think straight and see the bigger picture. Only Messiah, the Prince of Peace, your King, can lead you out of whatever part of the matrix you now find yourself. We have to lose all our fear and reorganize as the body of Messiah. By coming together in unity, you will forget all about the world you left very quickly as you realize you belong with believers who worship the King of all creation, Yahuah Elohim, by Yahushua HaMashiach, King of all glory. You'll never be happy living in Egypt, no matter how much stuff you have or money they give you. As long as you are in Egypt, you are not free, and your money is really their money. As people wake up from the lies and realize the level of deception that we have all fallen for, there will be nothing left but to depart and find a place to be with your brothers and sisters and start all over again. This is not about our lives. We are now on to our grandchildren's lives. If we want them to have a future, we need to do this now. Thank you for joining us. May Yahuwah bless each and every one of you. And remember, Yahushua HaMashiach, He alone is King of Kings.